Welcome to another episode of Just Elite. With me is Salvi Villanueva here with me on Zoom. Salvi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the fastest cameraman at the games. I mean, you did eight heats running with your camera, and I think if you go back, I think you beat all of these athletes. Salvi, tell us, where are you from and how did you get into media?
Oh man, I'm definitely not. I wouldn't say I was the fastest. I definitely was running half the time, half the distance each heat. But I do appreciate the amount of support from everybody online and in person that was there during the games. Yeah, so I'm Salvi. I got into media since I was like 12. Picked up my first camera, and I just got into like making videos, and that kind of fueled me into my passion, and so I started picking up jobs from there. And initially, when I went to college, I went to college as a nurse, but it was clear to me that in my heart I wanted to always do media. And so it started off with weddings and doing stuff for the gym, eventually turned into picking up stuff for CrossFit, and then obviously working for the company that I work for now, Street Parking. And I had this opportunity this year to work with the documentary team for CrossFit, and that was super cool.
So, Salvi, tell us, where are you from?
I'm from originally. Well, I'm from the Philippines, but I was born and raised in an island called Saipan. It's in the Pacific Islands, right next to like Guam, Japan, in the Asian countries.
Yeah.
I moved over here to Vancouver. Sorry.
No. How did you end up in the States?
Yeah, so I moved over here in 2017 to be with my girlfriend Aki, and just been here since.
So when exactly did you start with the CrossFit content? Because we know Street Parking is a very well name in the CrossFit brand. It's been around for a very long time. Obviously run by an ex-Games athlete. So how did you get involved with CrossFit?
Yeah, so Street Parking and CrossFit are very two different entities, and I was just fortunate enough to work closely enough with with Tyson Oldroyd, and he it's just great being able to work with him, and so he me from 2020 last year when I made the In the Hunt documentary with Justin Medeiros. And so he wanted me to be in the team this year to help build their documentary.
And then tell us about the Games team being part of this year's team. It's one of the CrossFit hasn't made their own documentary in a very long time, so this will be the first documentary that we see coming from CrossFit itself. How did you end up on Mariah Moore's team?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, Tyson and Mariah, I guess saw something in me from last year, and they wanted to bring me back. And it's a great team. I mean, we have individuals from all over the world, super talented creators, to come in and build this story, which was pretty freaking epic. Obviously, if you watch the games this year, it was pretty crazy story, and Mariah is spearheading the production of it, and so I'm excited to see what's going to come out of everything that we shot.
No, visually watching the games this year was really an amazing experience. The coverage was so well balanced. Having coverage of the age divisions, also now the adaptive divisions. It was so great to see all of those athletes. Tell us about your experience at the games, deciding what, especially that specific event. We all of us saw you. There's so much footage on the internet of people saying, well done, cameraman. There was somebody standing on the bridge. Everybody that was watching from home here in South Africa, worldwide, was like, who is this guy? So tell us about that event.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the broadcast stuff is separate from what we were doing, and those guys did a phenomenal job with covering. CBS did a great job with covering the multiple divisions. My job specifically was to shoot the action shots of the weekend and pay attention to the story for the documentary. And so with that specific event, I remember I had the Red Epic cinema camera with me, and we were going to shoot the event because it was so fast. It was a 500-meter sprint in like a U curve shape. We had a camera in the beginning, we had a camera in the end, and Tyson was like, "Dude, we need someone to cover that curve. It's like a dead spot right behind the Coliseum, right behind the audience. Nobody's gonna see it. We need someone to like cover that turn." And so he's like, "How fast can you assemble your gimbal and your Sony camera, which is a much smaller setup
Yeah.
and a little bit more mobile?" And so I was like, "Dude, I got it." Right away, I knew what he wanted me to do. And so I ran over with like 5 minutes left to spare before the Heat 1 started. No warm up, 3, 2, 1, go. And I just started running with these athletes. Um, yeah, I mean, it's super cool. I didn't know that I was in the shot of CBS. And so each heat that I was going, the people up at stadiums were like screaming my name and were like, "No, keep going, cameraman! Like, got this! Like, get it, you did it!" So that kind of fueled me to keep moving, and obviously, like, I wanted to keep going because I didn't know if I was getting enough shots, and so my goal was just to get as much as I could with each heat, and so you know.
So
I just kept running.
How far is that bend actually that you ran? Because every single time that I watch, and it got to a point, Salvi, I'm not even kidding, that I wasn't even watching the athletes anymore. I was like, this guy is moving, and how is he not going to trip? Because what I saw from the one shot, and you must tell me if I'm wrong, there were sandbags packed at one point. So you had like almost a hurdle that you had to jump over and not trip and fall on your face.
I know it was a little bit like sketchy in the beginning, but after the first run, I got a little bit more comfortable. There were definitely a lot of rocks, and it was a little bit bumpy, but I've done that stuff before. Covering footage for street parking, we've done like camp footage where I've done stuff like that, and obviously like with the day-to-day stuff we do, I've done running shots with a gimbal, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. But it just happened that this was being broadcasted live for the world to see, and so it was just kind of like, it went viral, and it was crazy. I'm sorry, what was your question on the on that? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to know how far the bend was. Do you even know how far you ran each
No,
time?
how far? Yeah, yeah. So that was it was, I think, I mean, roughly I would say a little over 200 meters each time. So just half of what they were doing, but yeah.
I mean, you were carrying
It
a
was the
camera.
right amount. Yeah, it was the right amount of distance for me to like sprint and walk back and recover right before the next heat would go. And so,
I mean, you must have been pretty exhausted after that event.
oh yeah, I mean, I think around heat 6 or heat 7, I was like looking up at the stands, and I was like, "You guys have? Do any of you guys have water?"
Oh, shame,
Like
man.
one dude was kind enough to like drop off his water bottle, and I drank some and tossed it back to him. So it was an amazing experience. It was
That's amazing. Now, Salvi,
unreal.
that is the one event that the world got to see and get to know who you, or at least see you run. You're obviously very fit. Tell us about the rest of your games experience working with Tyson and Mariah. She's very well. They are very well known in the CrossFit community, being part of the media team for so many years. You being roped into this.
Yeah.
Tell us about the overall experience for you as as an artist, as a creator.
Oh man, I mean, anytime I get to work with any individual, I just feel super, like I feel like I need to soak in the moment because everyone has a lot to teach you, and Mariah and Tyson are just two of the people the best to ever do it. And so obviously she's also worked with Buddy Bros over the years when they were in CrossFit. And so, yeah, I mean, all of those guys are just super good at what they do and super knowledgeable. And so just to be able to spend a week with them, absorbing as much as they can and like helping serve them it's an amazing experience. I look forward to it. It's cool, man.
So, I mean, it's been almost a week. Tomorrow will be a week since we saw the fittest crown in the world. Have you had an opportunity to go through your footage, see what you got, how it all came together?
Oh man, to be honest, I haven't yet. I needed time to like really just decompress and pull away from that. But we were looking at that stuff during that whole week, and the stuff that came out is it's gonna be good. I mean, like I said earlier, we had a team of really talented shooters this year, and the footage that's going to come out is it's going to be incredible.
And your part in this documentary, obviously you captured some amazing footage at the games. Going forward, part of this documentary, are you part of the editing team? How does your role look going forward?
So for the 2021 documentary, my sole purpose was just to shoot. Mariah will be spearheading the editing, and I know she has a team with her who's going to be doing the rest to help her out. But um, as for me, I'm done for this year's documentary. My contribution, at least.
Yeah, you're done, but just with the documentary. So Salvi, tell us, you came from Asia, moved to America. I mean, it's only been 4 years that you've been in the States. Going forward, you're working with street parking now, their documentary and so on. Going forward, what is the plan? You're also a registered nurse. Will you be practicing that as well, or is your main focus and plan now just to make content?
Yeah, I mean, I made that decision in 2019 where I was like, you know what, I got to go all in with this media stuff because it's what sets me on fire. And nursing is as lucrative as it is. It just wasn't it wasn't getting me excited to wake up every day and pursue something that I was really passionate about. And so, I spoke to Aki and I told her like, hey, I gotta let go of this nursing stuff because the media stuff is really for the rest of my life. So what I see myself doing, 10, 20 years from now, I don't know how it's gonna look like, but just knowing in my heart that that's what I want to do, I said, screw it. I'm gonna go full time with media and street parking, and it's been amazing since.
That's a big decision to make, especially if you work for a clinic or a hospital. It's a full-time job, and it's secure, it's safe. You have a salary at the end of the month. Where being in the media and being a creator, content creator, an artist, it's a risk. It's not so safe, and each month is different. So did you have to work with your head to move into the next phase and do this full time?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, you made a great point, because that was one of the things that scared me and obviously my family, because nursing was so safe and so secure, and they did pay well, and I was just like, but at the end of the day, it's my life, and I feel like the days were just ticking by, and I felt like I wasn't really stimulated enough. Um, but just the nature of who I am, I feel like I've always wanted to, you know, hustle it and pick up jobs here and there with media. And so this stuff sets me on fire. I just feel like even though it might not be as safe or secure as some may say, to me, I'm confident enough in my abilities to be able to keep doing what I'm doing.
I mean, Salvi, you're still pretty young. I mean, you're only 26, if I'm correct. So this is the
Yes.
time where you have to take risks and, make, I don't want to say make mistakes, but this is the time to do it. So tell me about your family back home. Are you the only one of your family that's in the States, or did some of your family members follow you along, or all your family still in Asia?
Yeah, so I come from a small family. My brother lives in Oahu in Hawaii. He does military stuff, and my parents are still in Asia in Saipan. Um, Eventually, I would love to have them out here. We just got a house in March, and so
Congratulations.
it's pretty exciting for us. Thank you. In this crazy market, but we're hopefully gonna get it ready for them, and they'll be able to move out in a year or two.
And your parents, have they seen any of your work that you've been doing while you're in the States, and any of the CrossFit footage that you recorded?
Oh, I love it. They love it. I mean, they they see all the street parking stuff that I produce, and obviously when uh, the that video came out that went viral, I mean, I kid you not. I come from a very loving family and super supportive. Like, we're super close. They would literally like and comment every single comment in that post, just to like show support, or just like, I was just talking to them last night because apparently they went through like all of the YouTube stuff, all the Facebook, and all like the TikTok stuff, and we're just going through all the comments, and we're just so jazzed about what everyone was saying, all the drama that was happening from it. So it's great. I love my parents.
That's awesome. So Salvi, going forward, I mean, you're working with street parking now. You just filmed for this amazing documentary. What is the dream for Salvi? Like, where would you like to, end up? You're still very young. You made this jump, this shift from one career to something that's not so stable. So what's the plan?
Oh man, right now, my main focus is to. We have an amazing team here at Street Parking, and our goal is to ultimately bring awareness of fitness to those who have limited time and limited equipment across the world. And I feel like we have the potential to do that, and I feel like we have the right team to do it. And so my goal really right now is to bring street parking to light to many more individuals. That's my main thing right now.
Street parking has really developed over the last few years. It grew. It's one of the very well known names in I want to say CrossFit, even though it's not in the same brand, but they obviously they still CrossFit involved in what you got in the root of what street parking is all about. For the listeners, for the people watching on YouTube, you explained to us now it's for people that got limited time and limited access to gym and so on. Just give us a little bit more feedback, maybe where it all originated, where it all started, and how people can get involved if they one of those individuals that's struggling now, especially with the world being in the state that it is in, and a lot of us stuck at home that maybe can't go to the gym.
Yeah, so obviously, and Miranda and Julian can probably, the owners, Miranda and Julian, can obviously probably explain this a lot better, but they were, big in the CrossFit space years ago, and obviously X Games athletes, but they realized that, past the games, past all of that stuff, fitness in its core should just be something that can be done at home and at your own time with the equipment that you have. And so it was a big deal for them to really like spread that message, because there was a culture of just, people having to go to, gyms and spend a lot of money and their time, where in reality, consistency can be found in their own homes, in their bedrooms or whatever, maybe their garage gyms. And so it was important for Sparking to kind of preach that message, just like getting fitness done at home with the time that you have, with the equipment you have.
That's the long and the short of it. And I know Miranda, she still loves the CrossFit community. I know she posted something on social media a while ago where she got her level 4 again, just to say that she is still part of the community, even though she's not, part of a registered CrossFit box. But that's still, that's where we all got to know her and both of them actually, and what they did. So the content that you are creating for street parking, tell us a bit more about that, how your day-to-day looks, and is most of the stuff available on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I make personally are mostly for the members, and obviously some promotional stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of it right now is on YouTube. We're pushing a lot of vault content, which is a once a week workout that our members can follow and do for 6 months. And then obviously we recently had fun with some spoofs and some promotion items that the members have just loved. And so, yeah, a lot of my work can be found on the YouTube channel for Street Parking.
And yourself, the training that you do, you're obviously very fit. We all saw you sprint 200 meters 8 times in a very short period of time with the camera and did not fall on your face. So are you part of the street parking training crew, or do you belong to a CrossFit box?
Oh, yeah, street parking crew, hands down. We were, it was funny because I was in the middle of a 5K endurance program for street parking. It was like an 8-week program. And literally week 8 was the week of the games. So it was almost like I was peaking at the right time. It was so funny. It was perfect.
I mean, you should have actually done the event, the toast to bar, and the running event. I mean, I would have loved to see you do that if you were peaking on a 5K. That's exactly in your wheelhouse then.
I know. Oh my gosh. When they did that event, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is perfect. I love this workout.
That is so funny.
Oh,
Salvi,
man.
yeah, sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was like, gymnastics and running. That's my jam.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that workout. I mean, I was completely amazed by the times that these athletes, put on that 5K. And with the games and the Olympics being on at the same time, it's just that the level of fitness and endurance is just something that I can't comprehend. I mean, I can't even drive that pace with my car, never mind it's insane. So Salvi, tell me, you're obviously part of the street crew, street parking crew, and you're very fit, and you said you were doing the 5K. As a child growing up, have you always been into the fitness scene, or was this something that came along as you progressed in your career?
Yeah, absolutely not. I tell people I meet all the time, I had zero desire to do exercise. I remember growing up, my dad would wake me up and be like, hey, let's go for a walk, let's go for a run. And he loved tennis, he loved running. Obviously he's a little bit older now and he just has a little harder time doing that, but I just remember growing up, he's always been pushing us to do a lot of fitness type activities. But I hated it. I just loved playing video games and chilling. And I would say around like 12 years old, when my mom really got me into Taekwondo, and she introduced me to discipline and what it means to put into work, and obviously having that pay off eventually. And so I fell in love with fitness quickly after that. I found CrossFit in 2012, and from there it was just history.
I mean, 2012, you were very young.
Yeah, I think I was 18, something like that. Yeah.
And was that back at home? Obviously, because you've only been in the States for a few years.
Yeah, that was back at home. We literally had one unaffiliated CrossFit gym in Saipan. And after a year of doing CrossFit, I got my level 1 in San Jose, California, at NorCal CrossFit.
That's amazing.
And I started coaching from.
Oh, so you are just full of surprises. You're a coach as well. You didn't even tell me about that. So do you coach as well?
Yeah.
At the moment?
I used to coach. I stopped coaching in 2019 when I went media with street parking.
Full-time media, yeah.
I mean, yeah, jack of all trades. I guess I try to do a lot of things. It's what keeps me busy and stimulated.
That is amazing. And tell me, the CrossFit scene back home, has it grown over the past 8 years since the unaffiliated box back home? Has it grown? What's the scene like now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I would love it to be honest, but I don't know if you're aware of like the island culture, and we're very much relaxed and like, dude, Shaka Bra, let's like chill and hang out every weekend and just drink beers and barbecue. And fitness is very much last in people's minds, and so there is a huge issue with obesity and heart disease and all that stuff. And so I mean, that's an ongoing problem, back home. And that's what my goal was when I was coaching back home, was to really spread that word of fitness and health. But it's such a tough thing to shake out of people when it's not very, it's not in their culture. But yeah. I love home. I miss home.
Yeah. So it hasn't really grown then, because I mean, the island that you guys lived on, it was it big? What's the population like? So I assume the answer is no, it hasn't really grown.
Yeah, no, we still have that one gym, maybe like a couple others that that probably still do CrossFit, but it has, it's probably still the same as it was last time I was there. I think we're about like 40,000, 50,000 people in that island, so it's not super big. I mean, I remember you could drive the island in like half an hour and come right back, like end to end. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Moving to the States must have been a
Millionaire.
surprise. But moving to the States, that must have been a change for you.
Oh yeah, culture shock, 100%. Yeah.
That's amazing. And your
But
girlfriend, is she also from the island? Because you mentioned that you moved to the States with her, for her. How did that happen?
yeah, so in 2012 she graduated high school and went to a Portland State University. And we've kind of loosely kept in touch since. But in 2016-17, I decided, like, hey, you know what, I just got my license in nursing. Let me get a job out there. I'm gonna follow her. Freaking love this girl. I'm gonna chase after her. And so yeah, you know, moved in here in Beaverton, Oregon with her, and we've kind of lived here in the Pacific Northwest since.
That's amazing. Salvi, no, you said in the beginning you didn't know you were that interesting. I can tell you now that you are one of the most interesting people I've had the privilege of chatting to, and I appreciate your time. Salvi, tell me if the people watching and listening would like to follow you on social media and go check out the content. You mentioned street parking on YouTube and so on. Where can they follow you and also see the content that you made? I'm not talking, we're going to wait for the documentary as well, but the other stuff that you've done.
Yeah, so street parking, our website, www.streetparking.com. On Instagram, we're at street parking. My Instagram is at salvi.villanueva, salvi.villanueva. Yeah, I mean, I rarely post stuff there, but, I try to.
That's awesome. Salvi, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me. It's been an absolute privilege and honor to get to know you, the man behind the camera. And I'm very, very excited to see the footage that's going to be included into the documentary of that specific event that we all got to see your sprinting talents, but also excited to see what the rest of the work that you do for street parking and your bright future.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It's an honor to be here. And again, like, I'm super shocked that, this opportunity came. Like, all right, let's do it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Just Elite. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and please, please, please leave a comment.